Hello friends, this is tutorial number 54 in this C++ programming language tutorials. Okay, in this tutorial we left to find three more options. We want to display apartments without elevator, with elevator, and nearest to the city center. And let's find these apartments. First we need to create a function. It will be void and it will be without elevator, but we forgot it needs to be vector of apartment will be A. And now let's define. First we will need one variable. It will be bool, and it will be elevator, or we can type found or whatever name you want. It will be just one local variable, elevator, and by default will be a false. And now we need to write a message. It will be apartments without or buildings. Maybe it will be buildings will be. Buildings without elevator, and it will be end line. And let's write couple of stars. And let us create for loop. For unsigned integer x equals to 0, x will be lesser than a dot size, and we'll write x plus plus. And now we will write control statement if elevator, which is this local variable, equals to, now it will be a of element x, and we will use get elevator, and we will just scan, we'll use a of element x dot apartment scan. And we need couple of stars to separate. Okay, this function is okay. We have boolean, which is elevator and defined as a false, and we have a loop. And if this local variable elevator equals to the function get elevator of the apartment, which should be false, these apartments will be displayed. And now we will just use, we will use this function. We will copy this function because we will change a little. We will just change a little, and instead of without will be with elevator. Okay, elevator equals to, by default it can be false, and instead here, instead of without, will be with, and we will just change if elevator is okay, we can change here to true, or here instead of equals we will just change not equal, and if and it will be just vice versa. It will display all apartments with elevator, buildings with elevator, and we can try to run. I don't know now if we try to, but maybe it's better to try to see. Maybe we will have some error. Okay, select option, but just one more thing. Okay, we will not run because okay, it's number 9 and 10 we didn't call. Okay, number 9 is without elevator from apartments vector, and here option number 10 will be with elevator apartments vector, and let's run it. First, let me see, without elevator it's option number 9, and we have, okay, I put 2 without and 2 with elevator. Okay, as you can see, we have apartment in Budapest. It has 5 floors, and here in the Belgrade is building little buildings, doesn't have elevator. We have here elevator no, and here also elevator no, which means that this is perfect. We don't need to check again. Now we will just check if option number 10 with elevator to see if everything works. Of course, here we have apartment in Warsaw and apartment in Sofia. Elevator, as you can see, elevator yes, elevator yes. This means that this works perfectly. Pretty much easy function with Boolean. And now we need just to resolve option number 11, which is nearest to the city center, and our application will be complete. Now let's just create one more function. Okay, pretty much lines of code. Okay, it will be void, and nearest center will be. You can call the function whatever you like. I'll give it the name nearest center, and it will be vector of apartment will be A, and we need to create again, because we are looking nearest to the city center, but okay, it's float. We will define it as a float, minimum equals to 0, and we will create apartment. It will be nearest, will be by default A dot front. And now we need the message cout the nearest to the city center. It will be the message, and line we will write couple of stars. And let's start. let's create for loop unsigned integer x equals to 0, x will be lesser than a dot size, we will do x plus plus, and let's create our control statement. If minimum equals to 0, but we need another opening bracket, or minimum is greater than a of element x, and we need the field get distance from city center. Okay, we need one more closing bracket, and let's define minimum. We need to redefine minimum. Minimum will be equals to a of element x dot get distance from city center, and nearest will be equals to a of element x. This should be perfect, and we just need here where for loop ends, we will just scan the nearest, and it should be fine. And now we will just need to call this. Let's call this here in the it's option number 11, case number 11. Its nearest center, and parameter will be apartments vector. Let's build and run. First we will see if we made some error. I think we didn't, but let's display all first. I want to see. Let me see. Okay, Budapest 0.8, Belgrade 2.1, Warsaw 1.5, Sofia 2.4. Okay, by the it should be apartment in Budapest, but we will check it. Let's run, and let's select option 11 and the nearest to the city center. Just a second, I think we have some error. Okay, we will see. We will see what's the problem, but I need to find just a second, where is the nearest center. Okay, minimum equals to 0. I think that we defined okay. Just let me see one. Maybe we need to use build and run. Just a moment. The nearest to the city center is okay. Distance from city center is 1.5, but it should be just a moment. This is still too much confusing. Minimum equals to 0, which is okay, or minimum is greater than a. Okay, by default it should be fine, but maybe I should change it to integer, and let's run again. I really don't get it, where the problem is. Just one moment. We call this nearest center. I need to check it again, Okay, let's put back to the float. We defined apartment nearest. Okay, we defined as okay, the nearest to the okay text is good, and here we have unsigned integer x, which is 0. X is lesser than a dot size, and we have of course x plus plus, and if minimum equals to 0 or minimum is greater than a of element x, get distance from city center. I really don't understand where is the problem. Instead of here is 0.8, and it should be the nearest. I don't know how we and by default we define it, but I really don't get it where we made this error. Minimum equals to 0, minimum is greater. I really don't understand. Nearest to the city center. And here is 1.5, but let me change now. I want to see where the problem is. Here where we defined it. Let's type 3.5 in Warsaw. I will see where's the error. Okay, let's select number. Okay, distance from city center is 2.1. The problem is here because of 0.8. That's the problem. Now if I put 1.8, let me see where the problem will be. Okay, the problem is, but if I type 0.8, will be buried. The problem is here in the 0, but it shouldn't be a problem. It's a little complicated, but here I think that problem is not here. I think that we made problem here with function. We have a field which is float, and here we should it was my mistake. I should create a public function float. Let me see here. And again, and here I, instead of float, I put int. Okay, now let me see if everything will be okay. Okay, nearest to the city center, it's Budapest, of course. It was my mistake, okay, because first we create and now we can change, okay, 0. Let's change 0.9. Okay, nearest to the city center is Budapest. And now let's just okay, now we will type 0.5 in Warsaw, and let's type now it should show us Warsaw. Yes, so of course, pretty much it was pretty much simple, it works fine, but okay, I made here a mistake. Instead of float, I put integer, and application didn't work properly. Okay, but now it's okay. Now we can just run again our application. Okay, let's type number 12, bad entry, try again. Okay, we can use build and run, and let's display all if we want to display all. Okay, perfectly. We see all 4 apartments. Okay, all 4 apartments displayed. Okay, now I can put back here from 0.5 to 1.5 in Warsaw. Now build and run. Okay, the cheapest apartment. Okay, it's apartment in Sofia because it is the smallest apartment, and it has the lowest price per square meter. If we type most expensive, it will be apartment in Warsaw. It's not the biggest one, but it has the highest price per square meter. And let's run again. Now what we want 3-room apartment. If we select 3-room apartment, okay, we have 2.5. When we test this application, we changed to 2.5, and we didn't. Just a second, where is 3-room? We forgot to put back on the 3. Okay, here instead of 2.5 will be 3. Now if we build and run, and 3-room apartment, it will be, of course, apartment in Budapest and apartment in Warsaw. Okay, let's run again. Okay, the lowest floor, it will be in Budapest, it is 1st floor, and if we select highest floor, it should be in Sofia. Okay, it is floor number 16, and we have the lowest building. Okay, it should be in the Belgrade. Okay, it is a building of the 4th with just 4 floors, and let's select highest building, number 8, and it will be Sofia because it is a building of 20 floors. And now we have apartments building without elevator, and it will be in the Budapest, in the Belgrade. These buildings has no elevator, and vice versa will be option number 10. Let's select option 10. Okay, Warsaw and Sofia. Okay, buildings with 12 and 20 floors, of course they have elevator. And now we will select nearest to the city center. Of course it's in Budapest, but it gives me a too much problem, because sometimes the problem is you think you are 99.9% sure that you did everything properly. Of course, I was looking for the I saw the mistake. I was pretty much sure the mistake is here, but okay, we saw that and this is important. When you define float, you need to use a float. We of course I forgot and create integer function for the float variable, and okay, and if I put, and it was great. I use, because we used just a second where we define, we use 0.0. If we just use 1 point, just 1 or 1.2, it will be okay. But because we have a 0 point, and integer can start with you cannot write integer with 0, and okay, now it's work perfectly, and I really hope that you like this application and to understand. Of course, you will have to practice. You can practice this example. You can create your own example. You can create car, truck, or cellular. You can create couple of fields and create couple of objects. Put them in the vector, and you can do some comparison of this object, and you will get a routine for that. Okay, I really hope that you like this application and that you like this video. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Twitter and Instagram. You have a link in the description, and I will see you in the next tutorial.